we're going to take a little step away from the draft and talk to somebody I'm very excited to talk about. I'm very excited to return to the New York Jets, and it's our good friend Brandon Copeland who's giving us a few minutes. Brandon, this is Joe and Tyson. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing, dude. You know, Jet fans, man. The draft is 2 days away. We're going crazy over here.
Yeah, excited, right? There we go. It's exciting times.
Well, first of all, we got bcopeland.com, so make sure everybody goes out and checks out your website. Obviously, everybody's already following you on Instagram and Twitter, everything. But Brandon, the most important question is, what are your thoughts on these new uniforms, man? I mean, they're taking this whole area by storm.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I think it puts the team, obviously, new mindset, new coaching staff, all of that type of stuff. And now we get to rock a new uni to kick off the season. So, yeah, it's a fresh start all the way around. And I'm very excited. Pretty sleek-looking uniforms, man. I'm hoping the black makes me look a little slimmer. So.
Brandon, my name is Joe, man. I want to welcome you to the show. I know you're going to look great in that uniform next year, man. And I really enjoyed everything that you did on the field for us this last season. But speaking about that, no problem. Looking back at that season, what do you think that you learned the most from it as you went through it?
Yeah, I think for me personally, it was my first time getting to start at outside linebacker. So for me, being able to come back this off season and have like some tangible things to work on, some game situations, and to be able to put myself in uncomfortable situations while training, but then also in my mind and in my mental preparation, be able to zap right back into the game. You know, those moments in the game where these are the exact things that I'm trying to work on. Those were huge for me. I think that it definitely helped target my off-season training a lot more than before. Before, I used to always just train to be an athlete and just be the best athlete as possible. And then, you know, when you put on the cleats and the pads, you just let your talent show. And now, obviously, you still train to be an athlete, but now it's like, okay, let's train to be the best athlete in this down, in this situation, you know, third quarter, fourth quarter, all 60 minutes of the game, et cetera, et cetera. So it just focused my training a lot more, and I'm excited to come onto the field this year and showcase it all.
Yeah. And as you look back at last season, what is your favorite memory of a play that you made?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think, to be quite honest, there was a stretch during the Minnesota Vikings game where Stephon Diggs came on a ghost motion in the reverse, and I made a TFL, and then I'm not sure. I think they got a penalty that backed them up even more the very next play on third and long, and then after that I got a sack right in the end zone. But, I mean, for me, that was a culmination of a lot of years of hard work as an undrafted free agent and being practice squad and being released and cut from the league and coming back and to take over a series like that, take over a drive like that and end it. That for me was a very, very proud moment, and I pray and hope and have been preparing to be able to do it more often this season.
Yeah, and those two plays were great plays, and I know that during the week, a lot of that went into you making those plays was preparation, getting yourself ready, getting your body ready. Can you kind of speak to what you do during that game week to get ready to make those plays when it's time to go out?
Yeah, I have my own routine. And I take a lot of time to make sure I focus on the minute details of the body. Obviously, there's the film preparation and the film study, but obviously trying to feel as good as you can on game day helps you play faster, play more confident. You know, waking up Sunday morning and feeling aches and pains and bruises, that's never a good situation, even though we figure out a way to make it work every Sunday. So for me, I get 3 massages a week, Monday right after the game, Wednesday right after that hard practice, and then Friday just to loosen everything back up and really work out all the kinks and to also just relax a little bit. Every single day after practice, you can catch me in the sauna stretching. You know, literally one of the veterans when I came out my rookie year. Leon Washington, former Jet, actually, he was in Tennessee with me, and one of the things he always told me is he believes so strongly in the sauna and not the cold tub. And, he said you work so hard to get your body loose. Why get in the cold tub and shorten your muscles and stuff? So ever since then, I've always saunaed after practice and stretched, and it's literally like a high yoga session almost. And, yeah, from there, just always taking care of my body, stretching, staying loose, hydrating, eating right. That's the hardest thing for me, to be quite honest with you. I'm known to be a crash dieter, but when we're in season and stuff, I lock in and try to eat much better and all that type of stuff. But yeah, it's nonstop preparation.
Once again, we're speaking with Brandon Copeland, who's very kind to give us a few minutes. Make sure you follow him on Instagram and Twitter, bcope51 and bcopeland.com. And Brandon, you mentioned film study. Are there any players that you like to study in terms of looking for some pass rushing skills or how they play your position?
Yeah, 100%. I think you always look at guys in the league. You look at the Khalil Macks, the Von Millers. You watch what they do, but then also watch around the league. There's a lot of guys who are getting their just due now, and you see Frank Clark signing a big deal today, and I've always liked guys like Whitney Merciless and Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill. But yeah, just trying to watch what they do and see what you can take. For some people, you can't take everything that they do. It all doesn't apply to you. For example, some person might have a great long arm pass rush where he can keep the offensive tackle off of him, right? And that person also might be a 6'6", 6'7", outside linebacker or defensive end. Me, I'm not 6'6", 6'7", right? So you got to pick and choose your battles and pick and choose what works for you versus what you just like and admire that someone else does well. But trying to find guys and finding not only what they do well, but also the details of what they do play in and play out, what they've made habit, whether that's getting off the ball faster than everybody else, or whether that's doing an amazing power move, a bull rush move, right? Just finding out what they've made habit. Was not just a one-time fluke move for them, and then figure out why they've made it habit, and then try to, input that into your own game.
And last year it seemed like you had 5 sacks, but you had relentless pressure, man. You're always bringing it from the outside. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was so much fun to watch as fans. But do you ever get into a zone as a pass rush where you're like, you know what, I can beat this guy, play in and play out, or do you ever get that feeling where you're like, I can get through?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think that's the best feeling in the world, when you just know that you have a guy cornered, right? And it's not anything that you do. Obviously, everybody you're going up against is formidable opponent in the NFL, but when you realize that, I really have this guy second-guessing himself and his talents right now, right? That's when you have to, especially in the middle of the season, as the season gets longer and winds on and you don't want to prepare as much. It's a lot easier to say, okay, hey, I'm going to just, I'm not going to get a massage today. I'm not going to do some cryotherapy today. I'm not going to hit the sauna today. Those are the days where you have to rely on not only your own inner will to prepare you during the week so that on Sunday you can put guys in those predicaments, but then also you rely on your teammates and guys pushing you to make sure you hold yourself accountable into that standard that you set for yourself day one, right? There's a lot of guys who have goals for themselves the first day of phase one and off-season workouts and then the first day of OTAs, but as the season gets longer, as training camp gets, a bit hotter and all of that type of stuff, they slack off on those goals. And I think that the difference between some and others is if you can keep those goals and maintain your standard throughout the season, that's when you really can do some special things in this league and even, and stick around for longer than average. So,
Brandon, when you talk about attaining goals and maintaining standards, how big of an impact is your positional coach in those attaining those goals and maintaining those standards?
Yeah, I'd say don't want to say – I want to say huge, but then I also don't want to say huge. And I'll explain that answer in the fact of, this is the NFL, and this is a profession, and this is a business. And so first and foremost, like, there's a standard that your position coaches set, your coaches and all the people around you set for what they expect from you as X, right, a defensive back, a quarterback or whatever, right? However, being in the NFL and being a professional at this, right, you have to also just have your own standards, right? When you turn on the film, you want to be able to look at those plays proudly. And I think that that's what this season, when you start a new season, that's one of the things that I'm always reminded of is as you turn on that old film from the past season, you're not living in the past at all, but you never want to be nervous about a play, right? You never want to be, coach pulls up a play of last year, whether it's special teams, defense, whatever, and you're nervous, like, I hope I did good on this play. I hope I did good on this play. Oh, man, I messed up on this play. Oh, I look stupid on this play, right? As opposed to being confident in your play 24/7, right? So, again, I think that, position coaches and coaches in general, they do set a certain standard, but then it's also on each individual player to have their own goals and their own standard of just living and being, right? And that you hope, for you can, once you sit in the locker room for a while, you can see and you hope that guys have a standard. You set higher expectations for yourself. You've all heard that, I'm my own biggest critic type of thing. And so I think for me personally, that's how I live. And again, our position coaches, they do set a standard, but my standard for myself is much higher than anyone else could ever expect from me. So,
yeah. How excited are you to play under a coach like Greg Williams? I mean, he gets after it.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. I actually got the chance to cross paths with him when I was in Tennessee on practice squad my rookie year. So, this is kind of full circle somewhat in the sense of obviously having a chance to be a weapon for him and not just a practice body. So, his mindset is second to none, and his energy is also, again, second to none. And, it's just an exciting place to be around. Every single day you're excited to come to work. You want to hear what he's going to say next and what he expects from us next, and you're happy to try to achieve that standard for him. He's setting a high standard, a high bar for us, which we expect that of ourselves, and now it's on us to go out and play the plays.
And Brandon, I'm not going to lie to you, Jet fans, once he was hired, I mean, everybody expects like a very attacking style defense, super aggressive, playing with a lot of passion and emotion. I mean, to tell the fans, what should we expect from you guys on defense?
Yeah, I think you should expect to see 11 guys all out there playing as one. And what that means is literally leaving every single thing out there on the field, right? Will it be perfect? No, it never is. Football is never perfect. However, you will see guys out there just busting their tails to get to the ball and really punish anybody touching the ball, right? And I think that when we start doing that, the other things will happen. And that is turnovers, that's tackles for losses, that's sacks, that's the PBUs, that's, all of that type of stuff. So I'm really excited about, like I said, the energy in the building and to all be on the same page and on one accord out there. And literally, I'm excited for Jets fans and Jets Nation to see us when we kick that ball off in those new unis come August.
Yeah, man, listen, we're all fired up. We can't wait. I mean, we're counting down the days of training camp, so we're going to be crazy. And Brandon, the one really interesting thing about you is, anybody that follows you on social media and everything else is you made a lot of headlines this offseason for all your off-the-field endeavors. I mean, you're a professor. You're involved in, financial services. You're a public speaker. Give us some insight on that, man. Is this a goal to just keep yourself prepared once football is over, or is this something you enjoy to do? Like, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think for me personally, it's, there's one of the things my high school coach always told us is, we would work out in the morning, And then, he would encourage us to take on a job or do something, right? And he'd be like, you can't work out 24 hours a day, right? Like you have to do other things. So for me personally, I'm just interested in a lot of different different things, and I actively pursue them. My grandfather, he recently passed away in January. However, he was an 11-year NFL vet, and he's always instilled in me the encouragement of maximizing opportunity in a moment and understanding when you are in that opportunity and moment. And for me personally, I understand that this NFL platform is quickly fleeting. So I'm going after all the different things that I'm interested in. And it's not to set up anything for after football or anything like that. Like for me, professor, I'm a professor of financial literacy at my alma mater, the University of Pennsylvania. Like I tell people, I really don't want this. I never grew up wanting to be a professor or even I laugh every time I'm actually on campus walking to class to teach the class, right? As a student from Baltimore who got in, who I always laugh at the fact that I got in type of thing. However, for me, it's also just about being in a position to have an influence and make an impact, and kids listen and kids care, and to even have this thing be a story, right? For me, it's about sharing information and giving access to knowledge. Me as an NFL player, a lot of people want my money. So a lot of people give me advice or give me access to different investments or tax loopholes and all of that type of stuff that that I think everyone should be privy to. I don't think it's fair that you offered an investment opportunity to myself, but not my mother, right, who's worked her tail off just to make ends meet and provide a lifestyle for her two boys, myself and my brother and I, right? For me personally, it's just a chance to, again, share information with people and make this a topic of financial literacy, just make it something that we all talk about and is an easier topic to discuss. And, to give one last example, yesterday, for those who don't know me, I'm not the biggest guy on grades. Like it's not that I don't care, but I don't care. It's more about being able to critically think and apply information, have common apply information in certain situations, right? I probably shouldn't say I don't care about grades, but I mean, when you're talking about 401ks and Roth IRAs and buying your first house and all that stuff, like, there's certain things that will matter to you in time, and there's not a particular quiz that can do that. But my point of my story, yesterday, what we did to grade my students, I figure if you can teach this information to someone else, then you have a pretty good understanding of it. And then the information doesn't just stay in the classroom, but now you can talk to your cousin or your mother or your brother or your sister about this information, and then they can grow. They can grow their knowledge and grow their own finances. What we did was we had a bunch of high school students from Philly come get a free college tour of Penn, and then we had my students break up into 5 different financial literacy topic groups and teach it to these kids. It's on my story right now. It might be about to disappear, but if you could see the conversation and you have young high school kids arguing about whether they should invest in Nike, Uber, or Apple, right? I know Uber isn't public right now, but them literally having debates and arguments and getting hype about it and stuff like that, that is the goal of me using this platform, right? Because who knows where that conversation leads for this kid, down the road. Now you have these high school kids who had no idea about investing in stocks before walking on our campus yesterday, and now they're leaving thinking about downloading apps and all that type of stuff so that they can learn more and eventually invest their own money. And where does that go? Who else does that teach? And that, for me, is a pretty cool thing to be able to do with my life and with this platform. And again, I don't know if I'm a former player, I don't know even if it's even a story. But while I do have this influence, it's very, very important for me to use it. And last thing, I know I need to stop talking, but last thing is funny because all the kids were Philly Eagles fans, right? They're Philly students, Philly Eagles fans. And so a bunch of them were talking trash. You know, we play them all this year, all the high school students. And then when, you know, at the end of the thing, I started asking, so who could tell me something that they learned, right? And you should see when I pulled out a Jets football with a bunch of guys who autographed it, Leonard Williams and Jamal Adams and all of the guys on the team, right? You should see how many of those Eagles fans just literally jumped out of their chair to try to answer it to get the Jets football, right? So we converted some fans yesterday, too, to a different color green. And, again, without being an active NFL player, I don't know if they really grab onto this information like that, right? I don't know if they jump out of their seats for autograph football.
Yeah. And Brandon, I want to thank you for doing that. I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing in the community, especially helping those children. Financial literacy is extremely important, and you touched on a lot of it. Just having that knowledge and spreading that knowledge and passing on and giving people access to that knowledge is huge. I mean, it affects their entire life and the way that they think about things, like you said as well. You know, the fact that they're arguing about or just debating about, you know, what to invest in, whether it be Google, whether it be whatever else, that really changes the outlook. So, again, I want to thank you for doing that for the community and for the children as well. But with that said, with you being an NFL, you know, you've been in the NFL for a while. You've gone through it all. Like you talked about being cut. You talked about coming in, being undrafted, you know, even the things that you're doing off the field as well. Do you also take hold of the young players that are in your locker room too? Do you sit down with them and kind of speak to them about things, not just on the field, but off the field as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, it's a hard balance, to be quite honest. It's you know, a lot of people are like, you know, are you distracted or you're not focusing on football and all that stuff. And for me, again, like it goes back to my coach said, it's 24 hours in a day, and I couldn't do football for 24 hours of it, right? You need sleep. And then, again, I always joke with people like, wow, some guys are at home playing Fortnite, like I'm just doing other things that I'm interested in, right? But especially young coming out, you know, there's certain things you just have to learn your own balance, and you have to, as you get older and more established in the league, I think you gain a better understanding of like how to compartmentalize and to be able to take, you know, time to go to a networking event or send some emails out on the off day, or even, I mean, it's not even all about networking and building something quote unquote profitable or investing. Some of the stuff is just like going out into the community on the off day. When I was in Detroit, before they, you know, ever wrote an article about investing or me working on Wall Street and all of that type of stuff, every off day in season I was in some high school or middle school or elementary school in Detroit. I have always done that. And so, again, it's just trying to figure out what you value, one, and then, you know, again, understanding how to organize time is huge and very, very important. But for me personally, not to get grim, but I always literally think of life as, you know, through this lens of me being on my deathbed, and hopefully I'm, you know, years and years and years and years and years and years and some more years away from that. But I always look back on, I always think of myself, any decision I think about being on my deathbed, and if I look back on it, would I smile at it and be happy with the decision I made or not, right? And for me to leave the NFL and not use this influence, and again, it doesn't have to be invested. You don't, you know, take that out of the picture, but to not go and influence kids and throw a football camp and take foster kids on shopping sprees and feed single-parent families, right? Like, those are things that I'll look back on in my life and be like, wow, like, that it was all worth it, right? For better or for worse, it was all worth it. And, again, I can't really see it for worse in that scenario. But, again, talking with guys and helping them understand their own balance. You know, you never force guys to get out of their comfort zone. It's just more of understanding that, hey, as you get more established, as you feel more comfortable with your routine, then that's where you can find ways to implement other passions and interests. And again, this platform is quickly fleeting. So, you know, the time is now. However, you have to make sure that you have no regrets. So if that takes you a little longer than another player, then that's okay.
Brandon, first of all, we want to thank you for all your time. This was a phenomenal interview, man. You shared so much on your own career, the team, and then your off-the-field stuff, and it's awesome. And the most important question now we have for you is, what is your message to all of us as Jet fans? They're getting ready for the draft, but more importantly, they're getting ready for this exciting season. You have Jamal Adams. Everybody's all fired up, man. What is your message to all the fans out there?
Man, get ready. Get your lungs ready to scream your tails off and literally start hydrating now. But I'm very excited for the season, excited for the energy that that you're about to see on this field. So literally get ready and I won't, to the naysayers, I won't say anything. God bless you. And to everyone else, God bless you as well. Either way, we're excited for this season, and I can't wait for you all. I can't wait to see you all out there.
Brandon, once again, thank you so much for your time, man. We definitely appreciate it. Best of luck this season. If you ever want to talk some football, man, we're always here for you. Awesome.
I appreciate you all. Thank you. And you guys love what you all are doing, and then I'll be talking to you soon.
Absolutely, man. Have a great night. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
All right, Joe. Brandon Copeland, bcopeland.com, bcope51 on Instagram and Twitter. What a good dude, man. We had him on last year.
Absolutely.
I remember when the interview was over, I was like, wow, like, he's so impressive just to listen to his insight. And then you look at his story. Like, he talked about it. Like, he went undrafted. He went practice squad, got cut, got signed, didn't make it. Then he made the team. Then he got hurt. Then he became a starter. Like, his story's pretty impressive, man.